this guy, he's a very extraordinarily gifted guy when it comes to the world of aviation. But I would also say that among his credits, is he here yet? Yeah, he is, right, Patrick? Um, Among his credits or in his CV, in his resume, is being in the first handful of people, maybe it was three people, who started EasyJet, which is kind of the Southwest Airlines of Europe at the time. And so some of the stuff I'm going to ask him about really applies to that world that he knows so much about. But he grew up in aviation, he lives aviation. And I'm so delighted that he comes in and sorts things out for us occasionally. How about it for Patrick Weil, everybody?
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm well. Better for seeing you. I love seeing you. It's weird because, Patrick, we have this feeling that the skies are more dangerous. There have been a lot of near misses that have been well advertised. There also have been horrible accidents, as we've seen. And I wonder, even as I read about how air travel is safer than it's ever been, how that can coexist with all this stuff that we're seeing.
Oh, it's mind-boggling. Yeah, this year has started off with a bang, that's for sure. We have about 125 people perished over 6 accidents. And then we have the other accidents like upside down on the runway in Toronto and yeah, so many things going on. Is it a plethora of accidents all of a sudden? Not really. I mean, airplanes fly thousands of miles a day and times a day, and attrition is sort of the word if in that case. But yeah, there's been a lot of unexplainable accidents that have happened and near misses and so forth, especially with Southwest landing or not landing on the runway in Chicago with a business jet crossing the runway right in front of it.
That's a failing of air traffic control?
Well, I listened to that tape very carefully, and the air traffic controller, I don't think was blame on that. I think it was the pilot of the flex jet that absolutely crossed the runway without regard for, especially in that airport. I mean, it's such a tight space that
sure,
not to look out the window and see what's coming at you is inexcusable.
I was reading a piece yesterday, a long piece actually. It just happened to be because we'd scheduled you to be visiting us today. And then this piece shows up yesterday. It was a big piece in the New York Times on the challenge that aviation faces with getting pilots. It's very hard to get them now. There is a feeling I recall from the piece over the next decade, there'll be a 30,000 person shortfall in pilot hiring. And one of the reasons is that there is a tough spot that many pilots find themselves in because if they're overworked, overtired, frustrated, depressed about things happening on the outside, that if they seek any kind of therapy of any sort, it becomes part of their record as an aviator. And as a result, they tend not to seek help because it can ruin their career.
Yeah, it's like reporting a UFO. You know, if the minute you do that, your career is finished, basically. Although last night I was sitting out on my balcony and I saw something I thought was a little odd myself. But do I go out and report it? No, I don't think it's a good idea. Just because either I'm crazy or what I'm smoking is doing something to me, right? So yeah, you don't want.
But the aviation world is quite severe in their view of any sort of what they view as sort of cracks in the psychological armor of any of their pilots.
Yeah, it's a quasi-military environment. I mean, an airline is basically a small little government, and in the end of the line is the pilots and the actual operation. It's a 4-dimensional industry. So you have brick and mortar, you have airplanes in the sky, and thousands there repeat the exact same procedure, no matter where they are at any given time. So it's a mind-boggling thing if you put your mind around. There's over 1 million people in the sky right now at any given time. That's just the way it is. It's amazing that it works the way as good as it does. And but there's there's room for improvement, I would think. I think the crash in Toronto was a blatant example of what not to do. And there was the pilot was a new pilot, and it wasn't because she was a female or male or any of that sort of thing, but it was the person giving her the check ride did not have real time in the airplane. The gentleman was a ground instructor, and should have been a something that a check lineman or a check airman would give that sort of a proficiency check to that pilot. So the fact that that crashed is a good reason why it did, and the captain did not take the airplane back at the last minute and let it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. The postmortems, if you'll pardon the expression, some of them are literally postmortems on these things. The after action, whatever you call it. I guess they indicate different things specific to different incidents. Then you see something systemically wrong, like what you saw at DCA, where you have a helicopter performing some kind of maneuver or even going from here to there over an active runway. It's crazy.
Yeah, never been there. And they have changed the procedure now at DCA as a result of that. Why it wasn't changed before is mind-boggling. And the fact that that even happened or even was allowed to happen is criminal, really is criminal. I don't know how you compensate all those people who lost their families, but
well, the DCA, as you know, this Reagan National, I grew up there, and it's always the airport people want to go out from and come into because it's right in the city. So that's why so many legislators, and they're the ones who really
push it.
Exactly, they push it. That's the reason that airport is as crowded as it is. I mean, it's pushed beyond what would be the reasonable limits for the airport.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's even flights from LAX, that go nonstop there, and the runway is only 5,300 feet long. So I mean, you cannot possibly take a full load of people out of there going west in the summertime, for instance. So you're limited on what you can do there, which is amazing. And the fact that it's more or less a postage stamp is this happens. This is another problem. Like San Diego is a good example of the same kind of thing. They've been wanting to put a new airport in San Diego all the way down by the border for many, many years. And there is an airport already there they could expand on, but local politics won't let that happen.
Sure.
Until an accident happens.
Right. So I want to ask you a commercial question, because you, as I said, you really helped launch a major European carrier. You know a lot about this stuff.
At the time, we didn't think we'd be as that would happen, but we launched with a brand down old plane with one old plane. We put decals on the side instead of painting it. I mean, that was where we were at with that. But it
became a real not only viable but dominant airline.
Yeah.
EasyJet. So I want to ask you about Southwest, because Southwest was always in this kind of they were in a place separate from everybody else, because everybody else is charging you for bags, they're charging you for a change, etc. Southwest seemed to be giving you a break on those things, you the consumer. Yeah. Now they're going with everybody else. It's obviously a huge profit area, which, charging for bags and for changes. But I wonder if you can speak to the effect on the commercial viability and success of Southwest, because now they're kind of like every other carrier.
Well, the fact if they are like every other carrier, they're lagging in many, many different things. One is a comprehensive alliance with any other airline to start with. That's one. No entertainment on the aircraft. I mean, they have Wi-Fi, but that's use your own phone kind of thing. What was the charm of Southwest was that they did give you the free bags. Now they actually did make that happen by higher fares. Actually, you didn't see it physically, but it was in their fare structure. So, and then you only could book on their own website to start with. So that was, there was a lot of cost containment involved with that. Now that they're going to become just an average everyday airline, there's so many people I know. Just, in fact, the other day I had a visitor here. She flew out a couple days ago on Southwest with her 100 pounds of luggage, and she's going to say, well, why fly Southwest? So I'll just get a credit card on Delta or American or whatever, and they'll give you a free bag if you use their credit card. So yeah, I think that's the answer to that. I think Southwest is going to be in a world of hurt. I think there's two problems with Southwest right now. One is that the aircraft they ordered that expected to replace a large number of their current aircraft are delayed because of Boeing's problems. So they are the only aircraft they have is a Boeing 737, and now they are up against the wall, if you will, until the 737-7 MAX comes out, which hasn't even debuted yet. So they're about 3 years behind with new aircraft being putting into the fleet.
Yeah, I mean, this is wild. I think they're also going to go to the dedicated seating, so you'll get assigned seats, et cetera. Yep. I mean, it's an interesting place they find themselves in. But I hadn't considered what you're talking about, which is that they don't really have a cooperative agreement with other airlines. They, they may find it tough going. They had an incredibly bad Christmas. Remember their Christmas season? It was just a mess. Yeah. So they had some reputational damage, I think, during that.
Well, they have. I hate to say this, but they have a lot of arrogance. Now, my friend, very good friend, just became their COO. So I'm hoping that he can bring some new ideas to the program there. If not, maybe what's not broken, don't fix. Is my opinion.
Right.
And that's their customer loyalty. I mean, like I said, you do that, and now Frontier 2 days ago said, we're going to do free bags. We're going to do assigned seats, no charge. So guess what? All the people are flocking over to Frontier, an airline that nobody wanted to fly on. All of a sudden is a darling.
Yeah. And as you say, you can build in the profit that you would have had with that baggage policy. You can build it into the price of a ticket. I mean,
that's what they did. That's what they did for years. Yeah.
Patrick, I love talking to you, setting us straight on a couple of outstanding questions when it comes to the world of aviation. Sure. Anything else that we should watch in this this changing world of getting from here to there?
Well, I'm working on my own documentary series about the airline industry. In fact, we're talking to agents right now. We'll have a celebrity host, a celebrity that you know or I know or everybody knows. So there's 2 or 3 of those guys we're talking to as.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, and this will be a full history of the airlines from the very beginning days to the current day to the future. And we'll go into different areas where catering and pilots and mechanics, maintenance, and the people that work at the airlines, their stories, why they feel so enthralled to be in that industry. It's very much, I consider the airlines very similar to a pro sports team, like an NFL team. You know, they have their pride and it's like rah rah rah, you know, and whatever. And it's quite an amazing industry on itself, just because of the nature of what it is. And we can't live without travel. I mean,
its history has been so rich. I mean, you know, people used to get in coat and tie and get on a plane. Now it's more of a flying bus, but there still is there's a shimmer, there's a romance to that world. I agree. Michael says, Mark, please ask your guest if Trump will leverage it. All roads lead to Trump. You need to know that, Patrick. Please ask your guest if Trump will leverage his power with Boeing to get a new Air Force One ahead of schedule.
They've been working on those 2 airplanes for years. They were originally built for a Russian airline that went out of business, and they just sat. And then, in his first term, he negotiated this deal to get these planes to replace the current Air Force Ones. I don't know where that all stands. It's kind of you hear a rumor here, you hear a rumor there, kind of thing, and it'd be nice to see that happen, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. There's quite the back and forth at Boeing right now and the current administration, but we will watch it. Patrick, stay in touch. Good luck with the project. I want to hear good things about it soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say is there's a new nominee for FAA administrator. I think he's a good choice. His name is Brian Bedford. He's the CEO of an airline called Republic Airways, which is a part of the American Delta. The commuter side of it. But he's a good candidate, knows the industry, knows it well. So he'll be, I think, the best.
Oh, that's great. So you get we get an endorsement of the new FAA chief.
Well, not yet, but he's got to go through the process.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody else has made it through, and we've had guys.
This guy should pass without any problems at all.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds like he's competent.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Good stuff. Yeah, great seeing you, Patrick. Come visit again. See you soon, Patrick Weil, everybody.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.